Welcome back to another episode of ATS Examples of Play by ATS Fully Engaged. I'm Evan, and I'm here to walk you through everyone's favorite word to say. Melee, melee. It's like le croix. No matter how you say it, you sound like an idiot. Okay, so let's get right to it. It is now currently the close assault segment. Now, have I done a video on close assault? No, that would be a long video, and I'm here to do short, fun videos. You should learn about the close assault segment and the sequence of play. You should go watch the sequence of play video. Tony will eventually do boot camps on each of the sequence of play sections, segments, phases, whatever they're called in ATS. You should go watch that. That stuff's important. For now, this is what we've got. Just know that it is the close assault segment. Okay? We're going to say that the Germans win initiative. So they're going to go infiltrate into the hex with the Americans. The only time personnel can occupy the same hex. So this is going to now, melee is going to ensue at the end of the close assault segment. So other stuff can happen on the rest of the map and whatever. In the close assault segment, we're going to throw a melee marker on here. So we remember to do the melee. In this situation, I probably wouldn't do it, but if it's a big map and there's a lot going on, then you put the marker down so you remember. And then we'll drag these guys off to the side. Usually do this in the physical game or in VATS, especially if you have a lot of dudes in the hex so you can see what the heck's going on. So melee is simultaneous. So these guys are going to take shots at each other at the same darn time. And we're going to compare ratios of gunfire factors and use a CRT. It's almost as if we were playing a war game. Operational, strategic war. Anyways. So these guys have 8 gunfire factors, and these guys have 4 gunfire factors. Now these guys actually have a bonus, and they have a +1, because all of their non-leader personnel in the melee have 8 morale or higher. So these guys have 8, so they will get a +1. And there's some dispute. Is it +1 to the entire group of guys meleeing? Is it +1 to each unit or subunit? Consensus is, talking to Scottigles, that it's probably should be 1 per unit with the 8 morale. Yeah, so if we had like 3 guys here that had 8 or 9 morale, they'd each get +1 to their melee value, in air quotes, their gunfire factors. So he's going to have a 9, so it's not going to change anything. It's still going to be a 2-to-1, to 9-4, 2-to-1. This guy will not quite make it to the 1-to-2 because of, it's going to be 4-to-9. 4-to-8 would be 1-to-2. 4-to-9 will be round down to the 1-to-3. So we will shoot them bones. And we'll do this the artificial way. So we're going to have, on the 2-to-1 column, the Germans are going to roll a 9. And that's going to be a C1. So he's going to take a C1. Now we are going to still use 4. We don't round it down. The same column anyways, but we don't round it down to a 3. And they use their original number. Since it happens simultaneously. So it will be on the 1-to-3 column. We'll say they get a lucky, cheeky 1 for a C1. And they take their C1. So now we go to another round of melee. And we just keep going through rounds of melee until one side or the other is left. That could only be 1. So we'll do the same thing. So these guys are going to be down to 7 gunfire factors. And then they get a +1 for melee for their morale. Actually, is that true? Yeah, that's clearly not true. They would just be at a 7 because they're no longer, their morale's down to a 7. So they'll have 7 gunfire factors against 3, so still a 2-to-1. And then these guys will now be down to 3 gunfire factors against a 7. So not quite 2-to-1, so still on the 1-to-3. So we'll roll it out to finish it up. Germans, they get a 9. That's a C1, almost all but guaranteed. Again, their actual number isn't affected, so they'll still roll on the 1-to-3. They roll a 10, the opposite of a 1, so no damage. So these guys are eliminated, and these guys will go back in their stack, and they are done. So if you notice, there were no morale checks at all. There are never morale checks in melee. So his morale got affected because he took casualties. The stats just go up and down normally, but you never have to make a morale check. So that is melee. And that is it for this video. Get reloaded for the next one.